Anywho, let's get to the games. I want to talk about last night. So Cavs versus Celtics. That was a huge deal. No Drew Holiday.
They didn't turn the game off when it was looking scary in the first quarter.
No Drew Holiday. No Kristaps Porzingis. As the people in the group chat was telling me I was crazy when I said that keep Garland on the bench. I was actually right. I was looking at the game log, and when Garland got subbed out during the middle of the third quarter, I believe it was, they went on a crazy run, and they took the lead, and they went up like by 5 or 6 by the time he came, back into the lineup, back onto the court. And by the time he came back on the court, they already had a decent lead, and they could build off of that. So my thing with the Cavs, they won. They give them all the credit in the world, but it was no Drew Holiday, no Kristaps Porzingis. I just think it's a bad matchup for the Cavs. Because what you need to beat this Celtics team, you need multiple wings, and I don't think they have it. They have one guy that can defend, that's a 3-and-D, and that is Daniil Hunter. Not Daniil Hunter. What am I talking about? DeAndre Hunter. Besides that, they don't really have a true 3-and-D guy. And that's where things get a bit tricky, because when you looked at Jason Tatum was getting his game off no matter what. And then Jaylen Brown, he's going to eventually get his game off. And when Darius Garland came back in the game, what did they do? Jaylen Brown was hunting Darius Garland. He got back-to-back points on him. So that's a problem that they're going to have to address when the playoffs roll around, if they do meet again. I just think that with the way that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are able to hunt certain players on that Cleveland Cavaliers team, it's just a bad matchup. But I salute the Cavs for winning. I always love seeing Boston lose. So that's all I got to say. What was your thoughts on the game?
I enjoyed the watch. Was to get, I remember, so what happened was, it was 20-something to
23. Yeah, I saw it.
And I was like, whoa. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to still keep the game on, but I'm not going to be locked in as much as I was before. So I was on my phone looking up occasionally. I looked up, it was a few possession game. I said, whoa, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, bro.
And then the Celtics got the lead back out to 10 or something. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, this is probably going good. Then the Cavs brought it right back to 3 or 4. I'm like, okay, what is going on with this game? And then the halftime happened. The game was it was a relatively close game. They wasn't completely out of it. And
it was a 10-point game.
It was a 10-point game. And then the third quarter, the Celtics went up by 17 or something. It was 80. It was 80-something to 70. I said, "Oh, this game about to be."
And then the midway point, that's when they started.
Yeah, I was like, wait, they got the lead back. It was 8 minutes in the fourth. I said, "What the heck just happened?"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "So yeah, I really enjoyed that game." The Celtics are very interesting because I seen some of the shots they was hitting early in the game. I said, "How are you supposed to beat these dudes?"
Mm-hmm.
But the Cavs said, "I'm gonna show you." And the Cavs, they had a good performance. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland did not have a great game.
He had about 20
on 23 shots.
Yeah.
That's not ideal. No. And like you said, Darius Garland is a liability on the perimeter. He's not really stopping anybody. And the Celtics, like you said, they have a lot of size on the court. So a little dude like your front court, is it front court? Backcourt defenders, being D. Mitch and Darius Garland, who are no taller than 6'2",
mm-hmm.
That's a problem.
Very much a problem.
And that's going to show itself in the playoffs. They got a great front court defense.
Oh, absolutely.
Great front court.
But that's not how you beat Boston, though.
No.
You need the wing defenders. They don't have the wing defenders. They're so undersized in the backcourt position that it hurts them in this matchup because the Celtics are a matchup hunting team. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen, these guys can play make. These guys can put the ball on the floor, and that really makes it difficult for the defense to defend because 5 out, have these guys with the crazy amount of space. Yeah. They can do whatever they want. They can operate whatever they want.
When your core strength is interior defense, and you're going against a team that likes to shoot deep, and your best and only really one of your guys are really good bigs is really good perimeter defender, which is Evan Mobley.
He was getting cooked too by Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum, he was going crazy.
Yo,
last night. I ain't gonna lie, it was one of them nights for him.
It wasn't until late in the game where
he shot 37 times. Good grief.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it wasn't until like late in the game. I would say maybe late third, fourth quarter where they were finally able to neutralize him a little bit. But dog, that first half, man,
Tatum was getting everything.
He was getting his game off. I was like, yo, he looking different out here.
This is the anomaly.
but you make solid points because remember, against the Mavericks last year in the finals, we was talking about like, yeah, take away Jason Tatum, take away this, take away, let Drew Holiday beat you. Well, Drew Holiday put up over 20 and Jason Tatum didn't have the greatest game and they still won. It's like it's hard to beat this team because they have so many different ways of beating you. They have so many different playmakers on the court that it really puts your defense at a disadvantage if you don't have the wing defenders. They don't have the wing. They need another guy. Like they need another DeAndre Hunter. If they had another DeAndre Hunter, then they would have a shot. But they just don't. That was a good trade, but if Cleveland wants to win a championship, they have to trade either Mitchell or Darius Garland. I would trade Darius Garland.
I'm trying to figure out, okay, you traded for DeAndre Hunter, but don't start him? Like, Max Strus was the starter.
Really? He was the starter?
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe he's still getting, inserted into the lineup, still learning.
I mean, Hunter had more minutes than Strus, but he just didn't start.
That makes no sense.
I guess they need a guy that can provide a spark off the bench, but that's what Isaac Okoro was for. He only had 12 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, I don't know what's going on with the rotations, but now the Cavs, I know y'all may listen to this segment and be like, y'all not giving the Cavs enough credit. Listen, we understand the Cavs are a really good team. But you can't use a one-game sample size where they finally got a win against them to be like, oh, yeah, we beat them in 7 games. A 7-game series.
And they didn't have Drew or Kristaps.
Yeah, exactly.
So how can we give them a fair assessment if they didn't even have the full
You
roster?
go down 20-something points in the playoffs against the Celtics, you getting blown out straight like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you cannot do that. Like, you have to recognize that, yes, you won, and it was a very gritty win. And all that, but you have to realize that you think the players aren't like we kind of skated on that.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna turn on that film and the coach gonna be like, "What the heck was happening here?" Mm-hmm. They're like, "Great win and all, but we need to assess what the heck went wrong early."
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, like I'm saying, like the Celtics are still, in my opinion, they're still the top dog in the Eastern Conference.
They're good, in my opinion. They're the prohibited favorite in the entirety of the NBA. They're the best team by far.
Yeah.
And they should be looked upon that way.
Yeah, because like I know everyone say, but the Cavs the 1 seed. Listen, I know this is a completely different sport, but the Chiefs ain't had the number 1 seed every year. Mm-hmm. Last year they won the Super Bowl. They didn't have the number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, don't let the seeding fool you. We got to actually assess what's happening on the court. I think the Cavs is going to cook anybody but the Celtics in the East.
That's a fact. It's just a bad matchup.
It's just like the Celtics such a hard matchup. Like you would have to pray that somebody gets hurt on the Celtics and can't play, because they could just throw dudes on you on the defensive end, and they have so many other dudes that can get a bucket on the offensive, and they run a really good scheme to get open shots.
I know this is not a Laker or an OKC segment, but what those two teams do is they have multiple wing defenders that can make it difficult for a Tatum and a Brown. OKC, they have Lou Dort, they have Jalen Williams, even Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he can sit in a chair, he can play defense. Like they have multiple, and they have size on the perimeter in the wing positions. While with Cleveland, they only have one dude that is known for being a good wing defender, and he can shoot the three. They need multiple guys, and they just don't have that. How are they going to figure that out? I just don't think they will against that team, because it's a matchup thing in my opinion. It's really a matchup. It's not a scheme thing. It's a matchup thing. They just don't have the guys that can defend Boston on a consistent basis when they're fully healthy.
Yeah, I agree. You can't have Darius Garland sneaking up the joint come playoff time. 9 for 23 is not going to win you many games against the Celtics. I'll say that much. And then he'll have Drew on him. So that's going to be, Drew might. No, next I think Drew will be a Garland, but it's gonna be a tough matchup.
They switch a lot too. Like when you play,
because they have the ability to.
Yeah, but when you're playing a Boston, boy, you need the guys.
They have 4 borderline all defensive players on that starting lineup. That is insane.
You talking about Boston?
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah. I'm also talking about Cleveland and how they do a lot of switching defense as well. Yeah. And the problem with that is when you're playing Boston, you don't have the dudes. They're just gonna hunt you.
Listen, if Tatum is trying to get a switch onto Garland or D-Mitch, no. Absolutely, you go over that screen 9 times out of 10.
And even Evan Mobley getting cooked by Tatum too. So it's like pick your poison at that point. And Evan Mobley is an amazing defender, but against Tatum, he just can't do it. It's just not a good matchup for him.
Tatum is about equal in size, but he's, in my opinion, Tatum is stronger. Really? And he's just more athletic.
Yeah. And I think, it's just unfortunate because Evan Mobley.
Tatum is a tough guard, man. I don't care what nobody says.
Tatum's a top 5 player.
Yeah,
he's a top 5 player.
Y'all want to brag on him because it's just a cool thing to do, but like Tatum is legitimately a dude.
He's a top 5 player.
Like, he is a very tough guard. You can ask league-wide who's a tough guard. They're going to say Jason. He's going to be in the top 10 at least.
Right now, the top 5 players in the NBA for the season. I want to go first. I'm just saying, just for the season. Who's been the top 5 this season?
Shea, Jokic, Giannis,
Jason Tatum,
and
did you say Jokic?
I said Jokic, of course.
Oh, you already said Jokic?
Yeah, I said Shea, Jokic, Giannis, Tatum. You said LeBron?
Yeah, I'm saying LeBron. He's been very consistent this year. LeBron has been tremendous.
Okay, I'll give you Bron.
Yeah, and Bron. Tatum has been one of the 5 best players this season, and he's one of the 5 best players last year. It's just he's not getting enough credit for what he's done and what he's doing right now. It's because he doesn't have that certain mystique, that certain attitude, that certain bravado that you would want for a guy of his stature, a guy of his position.
Yeah, then also people was trying to go on him for that comment he made about like his resume and stuff. Mm-hmm. But he was right.
No, he was right.
But, this goes back to what we was talking about earlier. But whatever, we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
it's just the Celtics a tough guard, man. I really don't see how the Cavs beat them 4 games in the playoffs.
Yeah, they need wings, man, and they just don't have it. Those bigs, we're in a new era. Back in the day, 2 big lineup like that, you win it 9 times out of 10. But now, with the 5-out offense, with the fact that the Celtics have every player on the court can make a 3, can shoot a 3, those bigs mean nothing, man. They're irrelevant in this picture because they just space you out, and the bigs they just can't guard the perimeter.
Would it be crazy to say that the Pistons match up better with the Celtics than the Cavs do?
Why would you say that? Explain.
Because when you say they get the wing defenders, the Pistons got the wings. They got a Sword Thompson, we know he be sitting on defense.
Problem is the shooting.
Yeah,
the shooting. That's another.
I don't think they beat them in a 7-game
Maybe
series.
Defensively, they'll have a better shot, but just shooting wise, you have to keep up with the Celtics from a shooting perspective, and that's what makes them so hard. You have to be able to have the wing defenders, and you have to be able to shoot with them. If not, then you're not going to beat them. You're just not. And that's just why the Celtics are the favorites, in my opinion, and we should be taking them that seriously. There's not, there's 5 contenders. No. It's about 3.
Someone in the group chat said he think there's 9 teams that could win. I said, win what? The play-in tournament?
Yeah,
shoot, not no daggone.
I don't trust. He said, I don't trust.
He said the Rockets. I'm like, come on, man.
He said Grizzlies, too. I'm like, yo, all right, bro. You clowning me, but you sending some outrageous stuff. Anywho, yeah, man, that game is out the books. Just let me be me.